Objection.
The people of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands have been hit especially hard by powerful hurricanes. As I said earlier this week, the Senate will continue to work with FEMA, the Department of Defense, and the rest of the administration to help in the recovery, just as we have in Texas, Florida, and across the Southeast. And we're eager to hear more soon about what additional resources will be necessary. The American people are stepping up too, just as they always do, and so are the brave men and women of our military. This week, 70 soldiers and 8 aircraft from Kentucky's own 101st Airborne Combat Aviation Brigade deployed from Fort Campbell to Puerto Rico to support hurricane relief operations. These soldiers will join the larger joint force effort, which includes elements of the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit, medical support teams, medevac aircraft, and elements from the Army Corps of Engineers. Kentucky is similarly proud of the men and women of its Air and Army National Guard who've worked to provide relief in the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, as well as in Texas, where, according to recent reports, their efforts have helped save more than 300 lives in the wake of Hurricane Harvey. We're all proud of their efforts, but we should not forget that disasters of these proportions typically require a response from nearly every arm of the federal government. The FAA plays a critical role as well. As we all know, the FAA's authority to collect and spend money from the Aviation Trust Fund is set to expire September 30th, this week. These are the resources that fund repairs and replacement parts for our air traffic control system. Even absent a crisis, it would be irresponsible to let this lapse. We've read in recent days that air traffic in and out of Puerto Rico has already been limited because of damage done to radar, navigational aids, and other equipment. The governor in Puerto Rico reports that air traffic control capacity is only at about 20% of normal. This critical air safety equipment needs repair. The FAA reports that failure to act on the reauthorization would leave them without sufficient funding in the accounts necessary for replacement parts, equipment, and supplies. They would only have enough funding to cover salary costs for these workers for about 1 week. These American territories are suffering. What they need right now is aid and assistance from the air, not a manufactured crisis from Washington on top of everything else. The House of Representatives will soon pass legislation that reauthorizes the FAA. It will help open up the airspace to that aid so that it can get to where it's needed most. And the House bill goes further by authorizing tax relief for individuals and businesses affected by the recent hurricanes in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, and Texas and Florida as well. Because these disaster victims won't suffer a tax bill on top of all their other losses. We need to pass that legislation here in the Senate without further delay.